Hello everyone. This is the final session of a class sports. And as I promised, I invited Abhishek, who participated in the Dream Together Master Program.
Hello, Abhishek.
Morning, Professor. Good morning.
Morning, welcome, and thank you for coming for this interview.
My pleasure to see you again.
Great. This is a class for sports and Korea's contributive diplomacy in sports. And I invited you because you are a participant of one of the programs that I just introduced in a previous session. And why don't we get started with you introducing yourself for our students?
Absolutely. Yes, Professor. My name is Abhishek, for the people who would view me later. And I'm from India, and as of now, I'm studying international development at Konkuk University of Foreign Studies. And I've been with a sport called Taekwondo for most of my life. I mean, it's almost been 33 years now, and perhaps that was one of the reasons why I first came to Korea. That was because of Taekwondo. So yeah, that's a little about me, and I'll keep sharing as you ask more.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about Taekwondo later on because we also talked about Taekwondo. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I understand you participated in the Dream Together Master Program, correct?
Yes, Professor. Yes.
So why do you apply for the program and how do you find it? What was your experience?
This was back in, Professor, this was back in 2015. In fact, 2014, one of my Korean friends, she's a former world champion in the Olympic sport of Taekwondo. So she had come to India for an exchange program where she was teaching Taekwondo to Indian students. And that was the time we just casually discussed that I want to move away from coaching and perhaps try my hands on the administration side of the sport. And she just casually addressed that once she's back to Korea, she might try searching for some good options. And I remember that I think it was the initial stages of 2015 when she called me up and she said, there's a scholarship program called Dream Together Master Program, which kind of offers you 100% scholarship for starting sports management. And I was quite thrilled because, firstly, because it was a full scholarship against sports and obviously in Korea. So, I mean, I had no two thoughts about even considering what the curriculum would be and how life would be, because it was just very normal for me to get back to Korea and start my education. So I chose to apply at that point of time, and I was very lucky to get selected. Eventually, I think that was in July, and September we started after the semester. So that is how I got in.
And what was the program like?
The program, I think, Professor, it's an eye-opener for anybody who comes from a developing nation and wants to pursue sports. Because back in India, or I think in most regions where we come from, sports is considered as a side activity for people who can't do much in life. So they are the ones who would pick up sports, at least in my era when I was growing up in the late 80s and early 90s. But then when I came here, I realized that sports is a beautiful subject and has so many avenues to it, right from sociology to marketing to sports medicine and so on. And once I came here, I realized that I could study as well, because I was never good at studies. And eventually, when I graduated the program, I was the best thesis of the course. So I learned that studying is a beautiful thing. It's just that you need to study what you love, and once you do that, you really don't put in much effort. Things happen naturally once knowledge comes to you in its original form, where you're not forced to study. So I think that happened with me with the DTM program, because I was so glued to every subject, right from sports journalism, and that was the point of time I realized that I could research as well, which I had never heard of. In fact, I had never heard of something called thesis. So I was kind of so embarrassed that I went back home and I was searching on the internet what thesis is, and I realized that you've got to write a paper and there on, I started off.
Mm. So you were a Taekwondo player, and then you had this master's program for producing sports administrators and sports thinkers, and now you are writing a PhD thesis, right?
Yes, true. And it's on similar grounds because my thesis at my master's program was on a social issue called child labor and how sports could reduce child labor in India. And that was a time when I realized that many social issues can at least be addressed, if not resolved, by sports. And I think it's a strong intervention tool, at least to highlight or address issues and bring people on a common platform where discussions can be made to at least reach some kind of a solution. I'm not saying sports is going to resolve all social issues, but it definitely is a very strong tool to make an intervention.
Great. And I can see you are wearing a jacket, Gangwon 2024.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm at the Gangwon 2024 Winter Youth Olympic Games. And like I said, sports has opened so many doors, and I never thought I'll be at the Olympic Games because as a player, I missed that opportunity. So I was here, and I just got to know that there's opening out here with the games. Organizing committee, I applied for it, and it's Korea, so things work out for me over here. So
Great.
I just got selected. Yeah.
Awesome. So, what do you exactly what is your role there? So, what are you doing there?
Professor, I work here as a communications manager with the services and relations teams. So my job is to coordinate and communicate with the different NOCs, the National Olympic Committees that are participating here at the Winter Youth Olympic Games. So mostly it's correspondence and communicating with them about the games. And then we have different functional areas over here. So we need to coordinate and communicate with them and ensure that, Korea hosts a very successful Winter Youth Olympic Games.
Oh, so the vibe is good? The Winter Youth Olympic Games?
For me, honestly, Professor, this is the first time where I'm at the back end. Most of the times I've been a player and a coach.
I see.
So I would see the championship zone most of the times, and mostly to do with athletes. So here it's about preparation for the athletes and how we serve them and how we ensure they have one of the best experiences of sports. And especially they being youth, this is the time where we kind of give them a lot of motivation to pursue sports in the future as well. And Olympics is perhaps the biggest stage. So it's just been beautiful.
Great. And in this class, in previous session, we talked about the DREAM program of the Korean government, which is inviting the youth from countries, in some developing countries who do not really have winter, so those who cannot really have opportunities to learn about winter sports. And you met some of the participants of the DREAM program there as well, right?
Oh, yes, I did, Professor, but I'm not sure which batch they belong to because I was from the third batch. It's been quite some time, but when I met them, I realized that they're from DTM, and some of them messaged me because they knew that I'm working here. So we met them, and it was really nice seeing them because I could see, where they are leading, and so it's going to be a great journey for them. And again, getting your experience over here, even as a volunteer, would add on to the knowledge base they currently have. So I think it's a beautiful opportunity to see all of them over here.
So I can see that this great connection of the Dream Together Master's Program and DREAM program, and they all connect in Gangwon Youth Winter Olympics, and that is awesome.
Yes, and I think, Professor, more than that, I think more than the Olympic Games, it's an opportunity for people to learn, and I've realized that this is some asset that nobody can snatch away from you. It's always going to be there with you for your life. So I think that's the biggest asset this program has given to anybody, especially to me.
Great. And let's talk a bit about your Taekwondo experience. You're a Taekwondo
Oh, yeah.
player, and you're also a master in India.
Yes, Professor. I started Taekwondo when I was 10 years. I was back in 1990. So at that point of time, we didn't had many Taekwondo dojans. That's the Taekwondo club. And I just saw a new Taekwondo club coming up just next to my house. And I was so kind of, engaged with the uniform. And I just loved seeing the uniform. That was my first interest for the sport or for the martial art. So I basically got into the sport for the uniform. It just kind of, I don't know, gave me a different high. So that is how I got into it. And when I started Taekwondo, I just wanted to practice it for fun or, just to know some martial arts skills. Eventually, I realized that, I can play at elite level. So I started playing at the provincial level and at the national level. And once I started winning medals there, then, it's almost been 33 years. I've played at international, won internationals, made athletes at the South Asian Games, currently at the Australian Open. So it's been a beautiful journey for the last 3 decades.
Great. And now I'm interested in your first encounter with Taekwondo. As you must know, the Korean government is using Taekwondo not as a sport, but also as a means to develop the societies in partner countries.
Yes.
Can you see some potential there?
Well, I think personally, I feel that there's a huge amount of potential because when I look back, when I started, we never knew of sports as soft power. We just did it because we just all loved it. But now when I see, life transforming from where kids are through sports, I think it's a great asset for not only for the donor nation, but also for people who received it or for nations who received these kind of aid in form of sports. So I think there's huge potential for sure.
And we have some critique that the Korea's Taekwondo ODA is somewhat way too much in promoting Taekwondo than caring more for social development such as gender equality or school education. Do you have any thoughts on it?
I think for me, Professor, Taekwondo is a very, how would I say, a very broad, aspect, and gender equality would eventually happen when you have such good intervention tools in any format or in any part of the world, just not limited to Korea. So even if the Korean government uses Taekwondo or emphasizes more on Taekwondo, I certainly believe that it will eventually help gender equality. Because when I see back in my country now, the best of athletes or the worst of the girls who've come from the worst places are doing the best in a country.
I see.
With limited resources. So I think sports definitely have given that option of not addressing gender equality, I would say, because the number of girls are very few. You need more data to ensure that this really works as an intervention. But I think Taekwondo as a whole is a very bigger term than gender equality. It would obviously address that when you have Taekwondo as an intervention.
Right.
Because it's not gender specific in any which way. Taekwondo is never taught only to boys or only to people who have money or who do not have money. It's just a sport given by Korea, I think, as a gift to the world. And anybody can practice, whether you're 70 years, rich, poor, black, white, doesn't matter. So in fact, a lot of times, because we have a lot of religions in our country, so a lot of people ask me, what's your religion? Because when they think of India, they think of people coming from a background with a very strong religion. And I always say my religion is Taekwondo because that's something that I practice every day. And religion is something that you practice every day. So when I think of something that I practice every day, it has only been Taekwondo. So I think, it's a very big term.
Thank you. And maybe this is going to be my last question. And I know that you need to go back to your camp for the Youth Winter Olympics. So Now, what is your next step as a participant of Dream Together Master Program, and now you are at the Winter Youth Olympics? What is your next?
Honestly, I realized, Professor, that this has been a great experience for me personally. I'm gonna add on to my CV. That's fantastic. But I think the entire purpose of the program would be dissolved or would not make any sense if I don't help more people like who are in similar situations that I was. So I think it's very important to go back and give to people who need it more now. Because me, taking the tag of a master degree or a PhD degree or a guy who worked at the Olympics is only gonna benefit myself. And I think that's not gonna address the purpose of such programs. So I think every individual who comes to this program needs to go back and at least teach 20 people what they've learned. And then, if we have 20 graduates, we can have around, 400 more people having or acquiring the similar knowledge that we got through these scholarships. I think that's very important for me, at least at this point of time. So I'm already planning how do I go back and do things that at least 20 people can benefit from what I got. So that's the short-term goal as of now.
Great, wonderful. So enjoy your Winter Olympics. And
thank you so much.
Yeah,
thank you
for coming to this interview. Great. Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
Dr. Goodbye.
Thank you. Now we are wrapping up our class on sports contributive diplomacy. In this class, we looked at the history of sports in Korea and the role of sports in peace building and development. And we also look at the Korea cases. And I thank Abhishek again for sharing his own experiences and insight with us. Thank you.